One thing. What would it be like if you did the one thing you think about doing every single day? Well, that's what my family and I thought about. Because every single day we thought about what would it be like if we minimized, if we sold off a bunch of our stuff, just had the things that truly brought us joy. What if we leased or sold our home and spent a year maybe traveling in a motorhome or, getting a camp or a cabin somewhere? But yet every single day we did the complete opposite of that. We maybe accumulated more stuff. We made up more excuses as to why we couldn't do it. We had all this fear-based logic. I know at least I did. We don't have enough time, enough money, all the same lies. You've heard them all before. You've probably made up a lot of them yourself too. But then one day we just said, you know what? We've had enough. We both worked really hard as entrepreneurs. And we decided maybe it's time we enjoy the fruit of that work. Because I know, for my business at least, I can work from anywhere in the world. So why am I letting my stuff hold me hostage? And we didn't wait for the perfect time either. We decided we were going to take this chance. We decided that we were going to just first reach out to a leasing agent and a real estate agent. It was completely free to get the information. Free. Just cost us a little bit of time. Once we got that information, we got a little bit excited. We started realizing, wait a minute, we have enough info here to know that leasing is going to actually be a pretty profitable idea for us. We can still keep our home. And then we decided, you know what? We don't know where we're going or what we're doing yet. So we just hired some packers though. They started helping us packing, and then that got us moving. We started getting rid of stuff, and boy, once we started getting rid of stuff, it was easy. And I thought getting rid of stuff would be the hard part, because I'm a collector. But man, it actually was pretty easy. Once I started letting go of stuff, it just started flowing. I thought that I had all this attachment to things. What I really had was an attachment to the story. Everything had a memory to me. Some stuff was really hard to get rid of. There were some things that belonged to my dad, but they weren't that special though. I mean, they just were his. They didn't have much of a story behind it. So I learned to let go of some of that stuff. And then just more and more. And at the end of the day, I got rid of a ton of stuff. What's special about today though is, today's my last day in this house. I'm moving. I'm gone today. After this video, I'm gone. Everything's packed up. House is empty now. So I thought that getting rid of stuff would be the hardest part. But no, we used a guest room in our house as a template for an offsite. It was a 10 by 10 room. So we said, all right, if it fits in this room, we keep it. If it doesn't fit, it's gone. I mean, we got rid of all of our furniture except for some antique furniture that belonged to my grandparents. Kept some of my vinyl collection, kept some musical instruments. But other than that, everything went. What was really hard was letting go of my ego and pride. My ego first. This house defined my success. I told myself, man, this house means I made it. It's a beautiful home, and there were so many memories here too. That was the other hard part, the emotional piece, the memories, the stories again. My courtyard, I love this place. This is where we used to have so many men's gatherings. I'd have all these different cigar nights, just stories were told. There was fellowship, brotherhood. I loved it. It's the only plants I've ever had that I've actually kept alive. It's been amazing. This home is just something that's been so special to me. We built this home from scratch 5 years ago when we were going to start a family. It was just before our son Fox was born. We had so many dreams when we came here, and now it's just like incredibly empty. I mean, we had so many little get-togethers here. So many times we just hung out around this like giant island and just talked. I got this guest room over here where my mom actually came down and lived with us for a year. My son's room. I can't believe it's empty now. But this is where we built his nursery. Right there on that wall, I had his crib right below it, but I actually had a quote from the song Golden Slumbers by the Beatles. It said, "Golden slumbers fill your eyes, smiles awake you when you rise." Smiles await you, it should said. And that song is incredibly special to me. I mean, so many epic memories. Like my office, this is the room where I actually started my business. You know, the idea for my entire business came from this room. This is where all of my ideas came from. I used these windows as giant marker boards. All my ideas would always go up on these windows. I used music to create all the time. Oh, man. When we first moved in, all we had was like a carpet and that TV, and it was actually on the floor there. This back patio, man, this back patio had so much, like probably one of the most special stories to me. I was standing right there next to the barbecue, looking out over the, over the edge here. There was actually none of these houses here yet either. We were still very new to the neighborhood. My dad and I, 5 years ago, just over that, we're standing right here together, and he had his arm around me and he said, "I'm really proud of you. You made it." Super special memory to me. Incredibly special. And then I remember here in our room, this was our master bedroom, and right here, that's where my son took his first steps. You know, I remember how happy he was. There was so much joy. I mean, it was just incredible. But that's the thing, I realized that the stories could come with me. That I wasn't letting go of the stories. I could take those with me. This house didn't define my success. It's actually, this house owned me. And granted, we went through some really tough times together, and I fought like hell to keep it. We fell far behind. When I got sick, 3 years ago, I got really sick, man. And I wasn't able to work as much anymore. And we fell behind. But you know what? We found a way. On paper, logically, I'll tell you this, it doesn't make sense that we still live here. Like on paper, it says we should have lost the house 3 years ago. But man, the good Lord showed up in a huge way. Helped me build a massive business, a thriving coaching practice. My wife built her own business. And then we got back to a place where we could do the payments again. We could own this house. And then all of a sudden, once we were able to do that, it was just like, why? We could have so much more adventure. What would we do if we didn't have this mortgage? Like, what trips could we go on? How could we invest more in our businesses? How could we invest more in ourselves, into our son, into others? How could we serve others with the extra capacity that we'd have in our lives? Man, when we thought about that, our hearts came alive. So this is what I call living with a courageous heart. This is when you live a life that's aligned with your values. So when I leave this house today, I'm telling you, I still don't have my plans finalized. But I know that we're going to be heading to Maine for a while. And we're going to go spend some time with family. My son's already up there. But I'm telling you this, you can wait for the perfect time, but if you're going to do that, you better get used to waiting. But I will say, if you start taking intentional steps towards your values and what you want to do in life and start living with that courageous heart, things start to fall into place. Because again, this didn't make sense on paper what we were doing. And a lot of people were scared out of their minds. They're like, what are you doing? But it worked. Because I'll tell you what, when you got your back up against the wall, you will find a way. And we found a way. So this is the beginning of our courageous adventure. And I can't wait for you guys to join along with this. It's going to be epic. So this is just phase one, and I will keep you posted along the way. We're going to be staying with some friends for a while, but it's going to be an adventure. Live with a courageous heart, my friends. This is just the beginning. Take care.